but I'm here with Jadyn Wenrick. Hey, Jadyn, say hi.
Hi.
So, Jadyn was a student of mine here locally for what was it, like 2 or 3 years,
I think so. Yeah.
something like that. And then her dad got a job in Oregon, and so they suddenly had to move out of state. And we did some lessons online, but different circumstances have come up, so we had to take a little bit of a break. But I'm really glad to see you. How are things going? Anything new and interesting going on?
They're good. Yeah. School online or band online has been interesting, but thankfully, a highlight from this year has been I've been able to start teaching a sixth grader online who just started the clarinet.
Oh, that's
And
so
that's
great.
fun.
I love teaching
Yeah.
beginners. How did you end
Yeah.
up with the student? Like, tell me how it started.
Yeah. A friend of mine from band actually, his mom is works with the mom of this girl, and so she needed a clarinet teacher because they are online too.
Okay,
And so I got recommended, and it's been going well. I like it. Yeah.
that's good. Yeah, it's amazing how when you start to teach, you have to learn how to put things into words that you understand, but it's like hard to describe. So that's always the
Yeah.
challenge. It's like a learning curve, and you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I had my first student that I had, I didn't start teaching until I was in college. So my freshman year of college, I had my very first student, and I think she was like a ninth grader or something like that. And sometimes I feel like I should call her up and say, I'm so sorry. I knew so little when I was teaching you. But
Definitely interesting.
yeah, she turned out really well, and she ended up playing in the youth orchestra later. She ended up taking from somebody else after she took from me. But yeah, she did a good job. But I feel bad because there were things that were going on with her, and I didn't know exactly how to fix them. But looking back, I would have been able to fix it now. So
Yeah.
well, that's exciting. Well, let's talk a little bit about Jadyn's journey. So it's obviously named after you, and it's all about the fact that you had to leave. And so it's like road trip music. It's kind of ominous sounding, like, oh, I kind of think of how every Stephen King movie starts with like a family in like an SUV driving to a cabin in the mountains or something, some
Yeah.
secluded place. That's how every Stephen King movie seems to start. And it has this sort of ominous music going on, like, oh, they're on a journey and something bad might happen. Not that something bad happened, but, it was sort of ominous because I was sad that you were leaving. That's why it's kind of a sad sound, and that's why it's in a minor key. But that's why that's yours. But I'm going to pull it up on the screen so we can look at it, and we'll talk about a few practice ideas and some things to look out for. All right, so the interval that we're working on is this D, E flat down low, and A, B flat up high. Now you can use the side key for just about every E flat except measure 9 and 10, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But there are also a lot of people who are really big fans of using the fork key for a lot of their E flat maneuvering. And you can use the fork key for a big majority of this piece anytime that you have just D to E flat. But anytime you start to get to where it's C, E flat, obviously that's not going to work. And that's when you need to transfer to your side key. And then in measure 9 and 10, if you look at these stars, there are 4 stars in this measure or in these measures, and these are the places where you can use 1 over 1 E flat, and that just helps it be a little cleaner because you're having to go B flat, E flat, A, E flat, F sharp, G, A, E flat, G, E flat. And when you only have to do this, it's a lot easier aerobics wise. You're not having to go to that side key all the time. So it's a really good piece to learn 1 over 1 because if you've never had to play it, this is a great opportunity to learn how to use it. The pedal tones, which is basically this D, E flat, are the least important in the melody. So you want to think about bringing out the lower notes or the moving notes, and you could even practice those separately. I'll play a little bit, like starting from 5, just playing the lower notes. So you can start by practicing it that way, and then you can add all the stuff in between. I'll play a little bit of that. I'll play like these first 3 lines real quick. So it's a little bit of a workout, and that measure 9 and 10, it gets me most of the time. I have to really review that. But Jadyn, when you were learning this, what were some things that you can think of that you would share to highlight for practicing and making sure you pay attention to?
I definitely had to focus on that 1/1 fingering, and focusing, and 9 and 10 for sure, and all the little accidentals. But I just took it in little sections. So like theme ideas. So like the first 2 measures repeat. And then I think of it like the second line is similar, and then the third line. So I would just play it in bits and pieces. And then the ones that were challenging, I would slow down and, make marks. But yeah, just take it really slow and make sure you have the right fingering, and then you speed it up.
Great. Okay. At the end of all this eighth note section, for me, these 2 measures, 19 and 20, they move a lot. So those catch me off guard a lot. So I would recommend for people to practice that pretty slowly, and maybe do some fun rhythms like long, short, or short, long, anything, or 4+1 kind of practice, because that moves a lot, and it's leading right into this big section here where you need to be loud and confident. And then the last thing I would say is at the end here, when we go back to a tempo, it's really up to how you want to interpret this. Some people might want to have a little lift on these quarter notes, and some people might want to play them more smoothly. It just kind of depends on what character you want to go for. And like I always say, add your own thing. If there's something that you want to add to it that feels right, just go for it. So here's kind of a legato version. Or you can lift it. So it really works both ways, and you can decide how you want to do that. How do you like it better, Jadyn?
I always play it long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how I've done it.
Okay. And then we have this fun accelerando section. So it's brief, it's just a handful of measures, and then we're going to really stretch here to lead into this trill and this moment of pause. And then we have a little retard at the end too to close the piece out. The shapes are really critical, especially on this top line, to give it interest. If there's no shape, it's really going to sound kind of dull, right? So we need that sort of wave of going up and down, and really follow the pacing of the dynamics. Notice that it's piano at 5, then mezzo piano at 9, and then mezzo forte at 13, and then back to piano. So just watch all those dynamics, and you'll get the really nice character to come through. All right. I think that was about all I wanted to say as far as like practice strategies. I did want to share with everybody that I didn't want to really say anything until I had a substantial amount of music, but I have written 15 etudes for book 2. So I am definitely in the thick of writing the second book. It's going to pick up where this book leaves off. So we have level 1 and level 2 combinations in book 1, and then book 2 is going to be level 3 and level 4 combinations. The intervals are going to be larger, and the rhythmic involvement is more difficult. Mm-hmm. There's higher expectations musically. However, the range is going to stay the same. Like I'm determined to keep the range the same, nothing exceeding altissimo, C sharp or D flat, the one that's just right above that high break. So nothing's going to go above that break, because I want to keep it very friendly for pretty much any level of musician and any clarinet in the clarinet family. So that's kind of the goal. These things are just churning out crazy fast, so this might be done by summer. So I'm really excited. So be looking for that, and I'll do some sneak peeks as it starts to get a little bit more refined and ready to go.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah. Well, anything else that you want to share, or is it your senior year next year? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, next year.
I bet you're looking forward to that because I think things should be back to normal for your senior year.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Do you have any ideas of what you're going to do after high school?
Um, I want to teach like elementary kids.
Oh,
So I'm looking towards that.
that'll be fun. You get some
Yeah.
good practice with your little brother, right?
Yeah,
How old is he
definitely.
now?
He's 9.
9. Okay, yeah. Well, that'll be fun. You think you'll stay in state, or are you going to be looking for some other schools?
For now, I'm thinking in state, but I might look
Good.
otherwise. Hmm.
All right, cool. Well, I'm so glad that we got to catch up a little bit, and it was fun talking about the music.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Bye for now, everybody. We'll see you next time.